What is going on, squad? We got Jason Aponte back. We're doing the dual stream again. Jason, it's the state of the franchise episode. How are we feeling today?
Amazing. Let's start off with some personal news. Amazing. In 1 month's time, it seems, I will be in Mobile with Brad Graham, with many of other people. We will be covering the Senior Bowl again. I am ecstatic. We kind of knew that it was going to happen, right? Because last year, sick flex, we did it last year, and we were on the short list of, hey, they'll probably want to bring us back. But that email hits different when you finally see it in big, bold letters. Your credentials have been approved for media. We'll be there every single day covering practices, the game. I am juiced. And also, I get to see my Brad Graham.
Oh, man. I'm so excited because this all started in Mobile, Alabama. Jason and I, this cosmic connection that we have, it all started at Mobile around the Stafford stuff. I mean, the Mobile experience, before we get into the Falcons and the Titans, the Mobile experience, man, was so freaking fun. Regardless of whatever went down, it was just so much fun. It's where I met this guy, Jason, for the first time, and we're going to be back this year doing it again. So, we're going to have that draft coverage on lock. It's going to be lit, man. My guy.
And also, it's here, quick little story, right? So Brad and I had known each other, at least our social media personas, right? At that point.
Right.
And
right.
we had never met face to face. We had never spoken, never checked each other's energy. We had always had good interactions. There was never any bad vibes, anything like that.
Right.
So we're in the press section, me, Leo, Jarrett, and we're in the press section where we're sitting watching the game. And yes, No Way Home was amazing. But Brad finally comes over to our section, and he's media credentialed as well. And he stands there, and we start to check each other's temperature and talk, because there was never any bad vibes or anything like that. But you never know how people are offline,
right?
Which is why I always tell people, like, don't judge people off of whatever interactions you have with them on social media. You might disagree on certain football takes, but if you meet that person, you might end up really saying, hey, that guy's pretty cool.
Yeah, vibe with that person.
Right, exactly. So Brad comes over, the vibe is on and everything, and literally, I had to beg for a follow back on Instagram from Brad, and and when I got that, never mind being able to scout players, talk to their family. Trey Lance was in the stands.
He was literally in the stands. Liked your tweet.
Trey Lance was in the stands, literally, while me and Brad were, chopping it up in the press section. And that follow back right there, it made the entire trip, man. It was entire, and that's like amidst all the chaos with, well, is Stafford going to be a Niner? Well, you guys are saying this, and there's, we're seeing general managers walk past us. We're seeing, football players that are on football teams right now. Michael Carter, we got to talk with his family after the game. Everything. And it's just a wild time. I can't wait to get back there and do it all over again, man, this time. And with everything that's, obviously going on in the country, still feels like it's going to be more people at this event more than last year. Last year kind of felt like whoever can get there and whoever's willing to risk whatever would go there. But now I feel like a lot of other people are going to be there, and it's just going to be a better time, I think, this time.
Oh, and the Senior Bowl has done a phenomenal job this year of really hyping it up on social media and like letting who the talent that they're inviting and all. They got a great list of quarterbacks. The talent is going to be phenomenal at the Senior Bowl, so I cannot wait. The content is going to be through the roof. We're going to have all kinds of 49ers content creators there, so it's going to be a blast. And Jason and I are going to be all over it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But let's talk a little bit, Jason, about this game against the Falcons. I got done with the offensive tape. I haven't done the defensive side yet, but it was so much fun to watch getting into it. When you got into the tape, what was one of the first things that popped out for you?
Realistically, that this defense never really had a chance to stop this offense. And the first drive was really just about getting out of the shadow of the end zone and just getting away from there after you get a fourth down stop. It kind of went the way that we thought. Scouting punters, yes, absolutely. I will have my eyes on every single punter and kicker, I promise. Yes. No, but seriously, very few times I get things right when it comes to scouting games, right? And I don't know if I mentioned it on here. No.
So hard on yourself.
Well, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is.
Look, you're on point, my guy.
No, but this coming from the guy. this coming from the guy who packed the season in, pretty much, right? And I had people. No, I did, and I deserve to take that L and own it and everything, because I had people point that out in the comments, because one of the videos I put up, they're like, oh, well, now you're all happy after you packed the season, and I was like, yeah, you're absolutely right. I 100% take my L, 100%. I was absolutely wrong. But in terms of what I mean about this game, is I never really saw the matchups that they presented in a way that would have slowed down this offense, right? We all know that AJ Terrell is a up and coming cornerback, really good in his second year, right? And that's great. But nothing about this team scared me on either side of the ball. I had no idea how they won 6 games. Seriously, this was the same difference between, like, the Niners should have just been 11-3, and they should have just been 2-11. Like, literally, like, that's the difference in these two teams. It was really that bad. It really was that bad, honestly. So in that way, I wasn't necessarily shocked or anything like that, but what I noticed is this offense is getting into a groove, and it really helps when Jeff Wilson is toting that thing and running as well as he was, man. And obviously he's going to have to do it again this week, as we know Elijah Mitchell's out. But if Jeff Wilson is running the ball like that, Jimmy Garoppolo is being efficient and throwing the ball very well in this game, had many good throws in this game, was very good. And this team is hard to beat. They're very hard to beat. So I think that's what jumped out. It's just like, this team, as long as they don't shoot themselves in the foot, they're very hard to beat. And that's a good thing. That's why they're turning into that team that nobody wants to play in the NFC.
Absolutely. And it's a perfect transition into kind of the running game and kind of the emergence of Jeff Wilson, because we had seen Jeff Wilson be back for a couple weeks, and he was getting bottled up. He just really wasn't able to get anything to break. Nothing was really going his way. You could still see the vision and the cutting ability was there, but it just felt like something was missing. Do you feel like this was the breakout game? Obviously, Jeff Wilson had a phenomenal game. We just got done breaking it down on YouTube about a half an hour ago, and just watching his vision, his cuts, and setting up the blocks. Just tell me about what you're seeing from Jeff Wilson, and do you think he can get even better?
Yeah, the seeds were planted in Cincinnati, right? The stat line doesn't jump out at you as anything crazy, but 4 yards a carry, considering where he was, it started to show up a little bit, and that was against a pretty good run defense. So it started to show up a little bit. Maybe the knee is getting back to full strength, and you kind of saw it this week. He looked really good in his holes. He was making his good cuts. He looked a lot more explosive than he has in weeks. That's a beautiful thing right now, because as we know, obviously Elijah Mitchell's not going to play Thursday, but if he can lighten that load on Elijah Mitchell and he can be effective, it's not just about having carries, right? It's not just about having a second person taking carries. It's about being able to rotate those guys in and out and continue to run the ball as well, right? Obviously, they both have different skill sets. One guy goes into a dark place. The other guy is fast into the hole, and a lot of people consider him mini Mostert. But if he can continue this while Elijah Mitchell is grabbing some air on the sideline and they're lightening his load, then this team becomes more formidable. Because if Jeff Wilson's on the field and he's ineffective, then you don't fear what you fear, because Elijah Mitchell has been playing so well. So it's a welcome sight at this point. And it kind of, it's just been ramping up a little bit. So you kind of saw it happen against Cincinnati. Pretty good run defense. But now it kind of popped against a bad run defense, the Atlanta Falcons. But a few weeks ago, he went against some bad run defenses and wasn't as effective. So I think that the knee is getting to 100%. And I think that is a great sign for the 49ers.
Absolutely. And so with no Elijah Mitchell against the against the Titans, I think Trey Sermon could be back. We don't know for sure. We know his window to return is open, but he has kind of 21 days to get back. So there might be a potential that it's back to Hasty and Wilson on the ground for the 49ers. Do you see any issues with that Titans base 3-4 defense that has guys like Jeffrey Wilson, Demeco Autry, Harold Landry, Bud Dupree right there in that front seven? How do you think Wilson will be able to manage through some of those pretty stout defensive players?
He runs hard. The 49ers run offense has been much better. They have a pretty good run defense, I will say that. And we know that they have guys who can rush the passer. Harold Landry, Bud Dupree is a specialist when it comes to that. Same thing with Harold Landry, who, a lot of 49er fans clamor for having him and everything as well too. But
Boston College, right?
Yes, sir.
He's nice.
The thing is the 49ers can still run the ball effectively, which will open everything else up. And I think that where the Titans are vulnerable is their secondary. And you still have to run the ball to keep that in the back of the mind. And you know Kyle Shanahan wants to do that one way or another. But again, Jimmy Garoppolo has a very good matchup right here where he can pick on the secondary a little bit. Look, no disrespect because these are still NFL players. Buster Screen does not scare me in any way for him to be out there. Caleb Farley is not playing for them right now. He's out. They're down to and this is how it is for a lot of
Norris
teams.
Jenkins on the outside.
Yeah, like it's like, come on. I'm not really too worried about things like that. And with the way that this offense is clicking, like Kyle was in his bag last week, right? If he stays there and he's just doing whatever he wants and picking on looks, then it's really nothing to fear. So maybe the run game struggles a little bit, but Jimmy Garoppolo still will have every opportunity to flex in this game and put a little bit more on his plate. And I don't feel too bad about that, especially with the way that he's been playing lately.
Absolutely. And Brittany Brown says Titan safety Kevin Byard atop the position at free safety for the Pro Bowl voting. Do you think he's going to have an opportunity to make his presence felt? Obviously, I personally think Byard's one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL. Doesn't get a ton of publicity or anything like that. Do you think he can make a difference even with the high accolades of being, atop the Pro Bowl voting? Or do you think with, losing David Long in the middle, there's an opportunity to exploit this defense even further with the secondary like you were talking about?
Yeah, Byard's good. He really is. And I mean, if they drop him down a little bit, then that's your shot to go over the top, like bring him to the line of scrimmage. And that all comes with at least just showing the run. Like you necessarily, again, everybody I think is a little bit fixated on, well, play action only works when the run game is working. No, play action works when you're able to sell the play fake and you are able to suck defenders up to the line. So the 49ers, look, obviously Jesse Bates is a great safety, right? Against Cincinnati, right? And didn't really show up. Like obviously that one,
he almost did.
He almost did. But at the same time, there's ways to neutralize that. And I think that they'll know exactly what to do when it comes to that. So if they're running play action and they're sucking those defenders up to the line of scrimmage and they're able to go over the top of them, Jimmy Garoppolo's been playing well. That he's been seeing the throws, making the throws. He's been letting it rip, man. And it's the only thing that could get into a problem is if the 49ers are forced to pass a little bit more and this pass rush gets to pin its ears back. So again, it sounds like week to week, it's the same thing that they should be doing every week. Make sure that you're staying ahead of the chains. Put yourself in if you're going to be in third down, then it's got to be 34 and less, nothing longer than that, anything like that. You don't really want to be in that position. But I really don't fear Kevin Byard as much, just because he is just one guy. And there are ways to neutralize that.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Brittany's also kind of talking about, we'll kind of get into it. Brittany's kind of running the show right now with the super chats. But what we just heard before we hopped on here is that the Tennessee Titans are going to be out without their starting left tackle and left guard. And both those guys are, in my opinion, their best offensive linemen. So they're both going to be out. And before that, the Titans already had a bottom 3 pass blocking offensive line. Is this going to be an opportunity for Bosa to show the rest of the world and the nation that he's comeback player of the year, but potentially defensive player of the year? If he can rack up multiple sack performance, maybe we see more Arden Key, guys like that on the interior. What are your thoughts on that with the Titans having those 2 key pieces to their O-line being out?
I mean, Brittany is so on point, man. They've already been struggling. Now no Taylor Lewan. So my little narrative that I drew from, remember Taylor Lewan and Josh Norman getting into a fight, that's gone.
That was fire.
Yeah, I was trying to get that going. That's gone. So there'll be no chance of that. But yeah, you nail on the head. Their right tackle, I believe his name is Glastonbury, something like that. I believe he's Gleasonberry. There you go. He's been struggling a lot. Nick Bosa is going to have a field day in this game. And if he gets 2 or 3 sacks, then I think that the noise goes up. Also puts him in a spot where he's almost going to have 20 sacks at this point. Like, why are you not talking about him as defensive player of the year? The only thing that kind of concerns me, Julio Jones practiced in full today.
Ooh.
AJ Brown is going to be activated for tomorrow, it looks like. And I know, guys, Julio Jones is injured. I know, guys, he's diminished. Don't you dare use that W word. Don't you dare use that W word. I will not stand for that. Diminished? Sure. That W word? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So
he was just a little hurt too, so we don't even know.
He's diminished. He's diminished. Just call it what
Diminished
it is. It's
Schwartz.
fine.
Diminished
But also, they haven't seen the field together. AJ and Julio haven't been on the field much together, right? And even if Julio is diminished, that attention that AJ is going to draw is going to put Julio Jones in spots where, even in his diminished state, shout out to Josh Norman, he's been playing well. We're going to get up off your head. Who knows, if Ambry's going to play or if it's going to be Dante Johnson. But I don't like that. That's a matchup that scares me. See, I was just talking about like Atlanta. There was no matchups that scared me. That scares me. And thank God for Ward and Tartt. Thank God for Ward and Tartt, because I would just be full on freaking out at this point. But I don't want to hear that W word when we're talking about Julio Jones. Don't want to hear it. Okay? But at the same time, he doesn't have to necessarily be the Julio that everybody thought that Tennessee was getting, or the Julio of old. 75%, 60% of Julio against whoever it is across from him. Right, exactly. With A.J. Brown still demanding attention, things can get a little hairy. So that's it. That's just one matchup. That's it. It doesn't mean that that's the end of the world. Doesn't mean that that's going to be why the 49ers lose. The 49ers are going to win this game. They're going to win this game. But that kind of scares me. I thought Julio or A.J. weren't going to play in this game. Now they're both going to play. The man had a hamstring injury and was declared out 2 seconds after on Sunday. And today, Wednesday, and he practiced in full. Hamstring injuries you don't come back from. He just got off of IR from that. So, I mean, it is what it is. You have to keep it down the line in the middle. That matchup scares me. It scares me with those cornerbacks. But thank God for Ward and Tartt, who are going to be playing all the snaps with Hufanga out now. So, pass, I'm not worried about that in terms of like on the back end. What kind of worries me a little is if there's some looks that, you can't run zone all game. Yep. There might be some just man looks where Julio gets a little, like we saw it in Cincinnati. You did what you could for a large portion of the game, and then eventually guys they break open. It's just not, you can't contain everybody all game. So the 49ers got to do what they've been doing, run the ball, keep that offense on the side of the field. They do have a bad offensive line, and I know that Bosa's going to get his shots, but Julio and AJ back, man, come on, man. Why?
I mean, we've seen teams like the Arizona Cardinals who knew they couldn't pass block for very long, exploit the 49ers defense. I mean, they just killed us with screens, if you don't recall. I'm sure you all do, because it's burned probably in the back of our brains, or something that you buried deep down and try not to remember. But I think that's a good transition into kind of Demeco Ryans. Again, you talked a little bit about the scheme and what they did against the Bengals. And then the game that he stacked as a play caller, a schemer against the Falcons. Talk a little bit about Demeco Ryans, what he's been doing these last couple games, and again, just speak a little bit more to how they can scheme Ambry Thomas, Josh Norman, and protect them with guys like Azeez Al-Shaair. Sounds like he's returning, Fred Warner, and both our wonder safeties, Tartt and Ward.
I'm so happy for Demeco Ryans, man. And he's just making stride after stride. And what I point to is different game plans for different personnel and teams. And yeah, he had a little bit of a leg up this week. Arthur Smith runs a variation of Shanahan's offense. And who knows Shanahan's offense better than Kyle Shanahan, who probably gave him some notes, and Demeco Ryans knows. And obviously the personnel helps. But it's not the same thing week to week, right? 1 week, it's looking like, okay, we can run a little bit more man against this team. Or, hey, this week, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are in front of us. Let's do some more bracketing. Let's do some more cover two, because obviously the Bengals are struggling with zone. I think it's the sign of a defensive coordinator who's growing, a defensive coordinator who is getting better by the day in his first year. And I'm just really happy for him, because a lot of people really wanted his head earlier in the season. And I never understood it. God. I never understood it. And bumps and bruises.
After 3 weeks?
Right. Like bumps and bruises. He was a first-year defensive coordinator. He was taking them. So it's like, hey, man, pump the brakes. He's doing a great job, I think. And then when you look at what he's having to do with the cornerbacks and how he's been able to hide them, right? A lot of the talk was about, well, Ambry in this game was a little bit shaky. I felt like he was in good spots, right? I think that the only thing that he needs to do is work on his confidence with his hands. He's in the spot, but if he was confident, he has better ball skills right there, because he knows where, like, he knows to go get the ball, right? Like, he's just not as confident right now.
You're not thinking so much. You're like, you're reacting quicker because you're just focusing on your reactioning, and when you're a rookie, you're just processing so much. So
Right. And it's clear that right now he's in his head a little bit, right? He's just thinking like,
right.
I don't want to get burnt. Don't get burnt. Don't get burnt. Even though you're in the right spot.
Don't get toasted. Don't get
Right.
toasted.
Even though you're in the right spot, all you got to do is make
Yeah.
the play, kid, and that'll come. And that's the funny thing is 1 or 2 plays like that where he gets a PBU or he knocks the ball away or he almost had a pick and Kyle Pitts tried to take it away. That can swing him. That can swing him a whole different way, right? That can be the confidence builder that he needs. So,
well, don't forget the pick that he dropped too, that hit him dead in the hands and it just bounced right out.
He's like 1 or 2 plays away, right? And I think that whoever it is that's going to be starting, I don't feel as bad about anymore. So let me get that Liz plug. Hey, I actually got this one from an Australian company. I think they're Culture Kings. You should check them out. It's called The Golfer. They need to cut the check though. Why am I up here?
Hey, you need to get that promo code locked up first.
Hold up, man. I'm not gonna be giving them any free press. Hey, man, shoot me a DM and I'll send you the link or whatever. But no more free promos, bro. No more free promos for anybody.
The price just went up.
Yeah, price been going up. Don't ask me to wear something on here. And then I'm just kidding. But anyway, back to what I was just saying. So look, when it comes to Demeco, think about what he's been doing in terms of a guy who wasn't even on his roster earlier in the season, right now down to his 5th and 6th cornerback, and they're still playing so well. And I think that a lot of that has to do with the strides he's taking week to week, knowing his opponent, and just getting better every week, man. And I think that that's, again, too, the pass rush, not anywhere near what we thought it would be. Nick Bosa is incredible, but we all had the thought that, this could be a deeper line than 2019. Obviously, you can't match the star power because DeForest Buckner's not here, but it could. We felt it could have been, yeah, right. It could have been deeper, meaning those guys don't have to be on the field all the time. You had a bunch of guys who would be in. We thought Mo Hurst would be doing more. Arden Key's coming on, so he's finding different ways to generate pressure, and he's not really doing it at the price of sacrificing any coverage, and that is all due to the fact that Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tartt, put some respect on those men's names, are playing as well as they are. And it's about time that people are starting to really understand what Tartt does.
Dude, I think that's another opportunity to just talk about Tartt a little bit. He was all over the place. Both goal line stops. Jaquiski should have just put his name all over both of those. Like, that was him. Like, he had that beautiful PBU on Kyle Pitts at the goal line at that first stop when Jermichael Hasty gets the ball on the ground. And right away, I mean, I tweeted it out. I was like, literally, worst way you could start. I had Jordan Elliott on Niners Nation yesterday. He's like, well, the worst way they could have started, they picked it up and scored. I was like, you right. Like, you absolutely right. But
that's a smart man right there.
Jaquiski, very smart man. Jaquiski was able. He was just, I don't even know, man. I can't even put it into words. I know you can. So just tell me a little bit about Jaquiski's importance on not only those series, just the overall game and to the defense.
I love it, man. I'm so happy for the guy. I felt like nobody ever really understands what they do. And the only criticism you could really lob his way is the injury thing. That's it. Yeah. And I just never understood the whole, well, just get rid of him. We have Hufanga. It's okay to like the rookie. It's okay to be excited about the rookie.
It's okay to have multiples too.
Right. It's okay to like the rookie. But let's not get crazy now. Okay? And I think, again, people equate whatever it is they equate as great safety play or playmakers. And Tartt's been vocal on Twitter right now. Like, he's tired of hearing it.
Oh, yeah.
Is turnovers. But
yep.
If they don't throw the ball at you, you can't make turnovers. And the guy is so solid, you never hear his name called. Sure, he misses a tackle here and there, and I see people saying that everybody does.
Everyone misses a play. Trent Williams misses plays.
Right. Come on, man. I mean, the guy has been as solid as it gets. The most underrated player on his defense for years now. So, yes. And I'm happy that, whatever. Everybody's journey is different, right? For a long time, this fan base was down on Jimmy Ward. Very down. And what was it about? Injuries. Yeah. Yep. What was it about? Injuries, right? He was miscast in the beginning. They wanted him as a slot corner, but that's not his strength, right?
Nope.
And for Tartt, obviously the injury thing is a concern, right? But when he's on the field, the numbers bear it out. In 2019, right, when he was largely healthy for that entire season, right? Largely healthy. I believe it was the first 12 weeks. They had given up a total of like 17 explosive plays in 12 weeks. The 4 weeks that he wasn't there, the 49ers gave up 19 explosive plays. I don't know how more you can correlate that to the fact that he's so solid and always understands his assignment. Sometimes the best play is the one that's not spoken about because the guy is in his spots all the time. And I'm just really happy that everybody is kind of coming around to it. Shout out to Wayne, sign Tartt. Now that's a real possibility. If that's what he wants to do. The man took a 1-year deal because he wanted to be here, because he bet on himself. Next year, he'll be a free agent. Next year, teams are going to come calling. So it's all going to really come down to what do the 49ers want to do. It seems like they want Hufanga to take that spot, and that's fine. That's fine, because it's fine to be excited about the rookie. But to push him out of the door immediately and want to say, well, just give it all to Hufanga, no, you can't, because there's still some things that he needs to work on that Tartt is still very good at. And that's the portion that kind of never jived with me when it came to that.
I think we all kind of agree. Talanoa is a bit of a work in progress in regards to coverage, and Jaquiski is not. He's great in coverage, and what he's been these last 2 weeks is exactly what you want from a safety like that. His nose is always around the football. That's what you want, right? And he's making big time impactful plays as a result, and that's all you can ask for. So it's going to be more Tartt. Talanoa is out. He will not be playing against the Titans. So there's no spell coming for those guys. We're going to get a lot of Ward and a lot of Tartt against the Titans, and that's going to be something that we're absolutely going to be looking forward to. Brittany Brown with another banger says panic button 1 through 10. Julio, let's do it in segments. Julio Jones and AJ Brown versus wounded secondary. Panic button 1 through 10. What's your score?
5.
I like that.
Probably the only matchup that I'm really concerned about, but nothing that's going to tip the scales unless something horrible goes wrong and Julio gets back in the time machine and he is Julio from 3 years ago or something like that. But
absolutely. And also Demeco Ryans has shown us against the Bengals how you can kind of put a Band-Aid on some of those wounded secondary.
And this hurts me the most. This hurts me the most because Julio Jones is my favorite receiver, probably player in the league. Yes, I understand, guys. He's not a 49er. I get that.
Hey,
but
I'm a big DeAndre Hopkins guy. So
I enjoy other football players. I've always loved Julio Jones. It hurts me the most to say that I'm not as worried, right? Like, I'm just not. But he can go off every week. Just don't go off this week. That's it. That's it, man. Like, I don't care. Just this week, just don't go off, bro.
It doesn't matter for fantasy because if you had Julio –
you're not had him all year.
You're not in the playoffs. You're screwed. So it doesn't matter. Okay. Panic button 1 through 10. Tartt, Hufanga's out, but Aziz is coming back. What are your kind of thoughts there? I guess that could be part of that initial question, but
no panic. 0. Tartt can do everything that Hufanga can. He should be fine. And if Aziz is back, then Godspeed to you, because Fred Warner last week was out here coming for everybody's neck.
Oh, he heard all us talking.
He heard all of us talking about Aziz, and he was like,
he seen me posting nothing but Aziz, no Fred. He's like, what the hell?
Hey, like I said, people want to take it as a bad sign, but what if you have 2 really, really good linebackers, man? It's not a problem to have. I have no concerns when it comes to that. And, you obviously don't want to see Hufanga get hurt because they obviously like what he does. He plays like his hair is on fire and, developing the rook. But in terms of now Tartt has to play more, I feel fine. And if Aziz is back, I feel even better.
Right, absolutely. More impressive, Demeco Ryans, Kyle Shanahan.
This one is tough because you can, in one breath, give Kyle Shanahan a lot of kudos for keeping all this together, right? Things could have really come off the rails.
It was like that close, it felt like.
Absolutely.
Like that close.
Absolutely. Could have come off the rails, right? It was really close.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to give the nod to Demeco Ryans. And when I say that, it's not to down talk Kyle, only Shans, by the way. New drop coming, let you know. But Demeco Ryans is the impressive one because for me, first year defensive coordinator, he's showing some of the things that Robert Saleh did not in his first year. And I think that a lot of that has to do with he sat a year behind Robert Saleh. Oh, I'm just joking. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to make a joke about that. No, realistically, he has grown week to week, bumps and bruises, just like any rookie player and a rookie DC. He's just getting better and better as the year goes on. And then when you look at the personnel, there's been games without Ward, games without Tartt, games without D Ford. Clearly, the corner situation is what it is. Week to week, he keeps scheming up the right things. Play calling is really good, dialing up those K'Wan Williams blitzes at the right time, and all of those things. You're watching him grow, and I think that should keep you more excited. The only downside to this is he's going to get calls for head coach very soon, sooner than later. So how long will Demeco Ryans be here is going to be the question that we should start asking.
We might get one more season, especially if we go into like a playoff run. We might get him for one more year, but after that, he's going to be getting all the calls. I agree with you. I think Demeco has been hands down the most impressive coach. Now, it's not taking away from Kyle. Kyle's been in his bag. Only Shans, he's back. He's back, and he's putting out premium content because what they did. And you're seeing it all kind of align and match up, how they're manipulating the run game, this hybrid zone power scheme, and you're seeing all the counters that they're building. Oh my God, it's starting to come to shape. And he does get credit for keeping everything intact when it almost completely hit the fan and just went everywhere. We were close from dysfunction in its fullest sense. But Demeco Ryans, like you hit on, what he's able to do, again, it's his rookie year. And on top of that, he's had, I would say the defense has suffered more injuries. Again, I don't have the numbers. I don't know exactly, but it feels like the defense has lost more impact players throughout the year than the offense has. I mean, you can weight it either way, but I think what Demeco Ryans has done this year, you have to give it to him. He is making adjustments. He's being able to help his guys. You can see players developing under him. So he's already developed Fred Warner, Azeez Al-Shaair, and he gets a ton of credit for that. Now you're seeing what he's able to do and the way he's able to scheme certain things. He's been solid. So great stuff, Brittany. That is, you're bringing some hot fire today.
Shout out to her, man. She's the MVP so far.
Hey, she's like our third. She's like our third host, man. Yeah, so man. She's doing hella good. Let's talk to me a little bit about. Let's switch gears. We're kind of hopping all over the place. Let's go to Deebo Samuel. Let's get to the offensive side. Talk to me a little bit about Deebo Samuel, the way he continues to play, and the way they keep using him. Do you think that's something that we'll continue to see?
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan's trying to get him quarterback stats so he can get thrown into the MVP situation. That's Andrew Pasquini's take, by the way. That's not mine.
Oh, I like that.
So that's
coming in with the fire.
That's how you get Deebo Samuel into the MVP conversation. Get him to throw a few touchdown passes so we can say, hey, he's a quarterback too.
Right. We can add another name to the moniker.
And I have a little snarky, funny, sarcastic response to that too. I mean, if he really wants to develop Deebo Samuel as a quarterback, he probably should just sit him for a year. Oh, I'm just kidding, Brad. It's just a joke, man. Lighten up, guys. It's a joke. Come on. No, realistically, right now, what Deebo Samuel's been able to do is whatever he's asked to do, he always does it well, and he is that home run hitting running back that I feel Kyle's been missing since Mostert left.
Yes.
And I think that we all just assume because Elijah Mitchell's been playing very well that he would automatically slide into. Elijah Mitchell's been very good, but he still is not Mostert. Mostert's different. Mostert's different. And if you would have told me a few weeks ago, say, hey, man, do you want Mostert to come back? I'd be like, nah, we're good. I think I want Mostert back next year for a team-friendly deal, and it seems like he does want to be here, and I would love to bring him back.
But real quick on Mostert. He's been on IR, right, since the beginning of the year.
Super Bowl.
How often do you see guys who are on injured reserve breaking down the position huddle pre-game on the field, giving them the pep talk?
He wants to be here, man.
Right?
Yeah, he wants to be here. He loves the culture. Don't discount the fact that this team was the team that believed in him and gave him his shot and really put his name out there, right? And everybody assumes, okay, everybody wants to get paid. Yeah, that's definitely true because of what you're putting your body through and what can happen at any moment.
Of course.
But don't discount the culture, right? Jason Verrett turned down a bag because he wanted to be here because they believed in him, right? And you could obviously say in hindsight, okay, maybe that wasn't the best decision. But the reason that I'm pointing that out is don't discount that factor and don't make it seem like everybody, there's a way for him to make money and be in a place that he loves and he knows he'll be utilized and he knows he can succeed if he loves the culture. So the point that I'm making with most of it is more about Kyle Shanahan's missing that home run hitter. And Deebo Samuel's that. Anytime that the ball is in his hands, he has a chance to take it to the crib. Now, he'll have one big run, but then some other ones it'll be, he'll have like 7 rushes for like 10 yards. But there is that little home run hitter factor that's not there. And I would love for that to come back with Mostert. And, when Mitchell gets back, obviously, he won't be needed as much as a running back because I think that is taking away from his wide receiver ability. And I think that I want to see that a little bit more. Yeah. I want to see that a little bit more. But right now, Kyle Shanahan is doing what's best for the team. And he's using one of his premier playmakers, getting the ball in his hands any way that you can. And that's my motto, right? I don't care how you do it. If you have a playmaker, get him the ball. But Deebo Samuel's been incredible, man. And it's just, Cooper Kupp is running away now with this Offensive Player of the Year. So is Jonathan Taylor, I think, at this point, right? It's one of those two at this point. And I think that obviously Deebo missed a game, and then his receiving stats took a bit of a knockdown when he became more of a running back. Right. But he's been incredible, man. And it's hard to imagine where this team would be without him, especially considering they just anything they ask of him, he succeeds.
Yeah, I agree. I think him kind of transitioning into that running back role has kind of hit that momentum that, we were ready to talk about him as potential MVP with the way that he was producing. And at the time, he seemingly was like the only weapon that the 49ers could get going at that time. But thankfully, the 49ers have gotten George Kittle back. George Kittle is on an historic 3-game run. Talk to me a little bit about George Kittle and his importance and how it almost kind of feels like his energy is starting to also permeate through the offense.
We're so lucky, man. We are so lucky as 49er fans. George Kittle, Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Kyle Juszczyk, all have claims to best at their position.
Yes.
And
100%.
He's 150 yards away from 1,000 yards, and he was on the IR this year.
Yeah.
What? Right. And I'm pulling up this stat because fortunately, I'm lucky enough to have NFL Communications send me emails and things like that in terms of because I signed up and I'm approved with them. That's a flex as well too. I'm approved with them like for credentials and stuff like that. So here it is.
He's credentialed everywhere, not just for the Senior Bowl.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, we missed the Super Bowl opportunity to get credentialed for that too. We completely blew it, man. I logged into the website today just to like take a look because I was trying to see if they were gonna have the combine. And if they were going to do it like where, we can go to Indianapolis or whatever to do it. And then I looked and it said Super Bowl event, deadline to apply November 24th. I was like, damn it, man. I blew it. Anyway, per NFL Communications, George Kittle has 4,429 receiving yards since entering the league in 2017. He passed Rob Gronkowski with 4,379 for the third most from a tight end in his first 5 years. Only Jimmy Graham with 4,752 and Kellen Winslow, 4,513, have more receiving yards as a tight end in their first 5 years. When you put that into perspective with how many games George Kittle has missed over his career, that makes that all the more insane. Like right now, what George Kittle is doing is insane. We are all blessed. Tight end 1, stop, don't at me. I don't want to hear it. Don't talk to me about whoever else you want to talk about. Mark Andrews is really Mark Andrews is tired of not being talked about in that tier too. He's really trying his best.
Andrews. I loved him since Oklahoma, man.
He's balling. He's balling. Yeah, he's balling. That's easy to see. But shame on you if you wanted George Kittle traded. Shame on you. God,
tell him, Jason.
Shame on you. Okay, I'm wagging a finger at you, and I'm gonna tell Grant Cohn. I'm gonna tell Grant Cohn the next time I see him. Make sure I tell Grant, you bozo, you blew it on that one. So no, we're just blessed. Yeah, we're just blessed, man. We are honestly, and I think that we should just be. I think that we're a little bit. We take it for granted, right? And it's so nice to say, hey, man, this guy's injured. Maybe we should just throw the ball to our tight end a little bit more. Like And our tight end is George Kittle. Like, he's just it's other fan bases can't understand how happy we should be or how happy we are, honestly. So yeah, man.
Absolutely. And we said all that. We didn't even talk about the dude's blocking. That's where I'm going to come in. And
Yeah,
I think that's what separates him from the Travis Kelce's, the Darren Wallers, the Mark Andrews, his ability to be a utility piece on this offense. He's a true tight end, real true tight end. George Kittle has been fantastic. But talk to me a little bit about some of our ancillary pieces, like a Jawan Jennings. What have you seen from Jawan Jennings these last couple weeks? And he got a touchdown here against the Falcons. What are you seeing from the young buck?
growing. And the only thing that he really needs to knock out right now is just drops at this point. That's it. But Kyle's got his big slot. Kyle has his big slot, man. Finally. Went from Jalen Hurd to Mohamed Sanu. It's Jawan Jennings. And again, for as much crap as we give them for, hey, you missed in this round on this guy, or hey, this guy's not looking so good. 6th round, he fits in exactly with what Kyle likes. He blocks. He's big. Catch point. Red zone threat.
Yep.
It's happening. And again, you have to give them props for when they hit. Doesn't matter the round, right? And it took a year. He was injured last year. But look at what's happening. He's developing. And again, it just makes his defense so much harder to defend in the red zone. Now you've got 2 guys that you throw up the ball to now, right?
Yep.
Kittle's becoming more of a red zone threat. They're actually throwing him the ball in the red zone.
Yep.
Jawan Jennings is that guy right now where you can throw it up. The only time that we've really seen a big receiver go get like a jump ball, fortunately, was in 2019 when Jalen Hurd, when Jalen Hurd caught those passes in the Dallas game.
The Cowboys.
Yeah, seriously.
We're still talking about Jalen.
I know. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just trying to point out.
No. It's just funny. I've never seen a player get so much clout off one game.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, it is what it is. We're not going to go back to that or anything like that. But yeah, at this point, he is that big slot that Kyle's been craving, and it's been really fun to watch week after week. Him grow, see his role grow, and to know that he's not just out there to be a big body. He's also going to block his ass off in the run game, and that's what Kyle wants. Kyle will put you out on the field if you're going to be blocking. You have to block if you're a wide receiver. So yeah, it's great to see the development, man. And him and Jimmy have a connection. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. I mean, Brandon Aiyuk had 1 catch for 36 yards. Is that something that causes concern for you, or are you okay because Brandon Aiyuk was blocking his tail off for a lot of the game?
No, I mean, I would love to see. This is why I feel like the 49ers offense still hasn't even hit its ceiling yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can we get a game where George, Brandon, and Debo all go off?
Yeah,
all of them get 580 a touch, right? Like, can we get one of those games? Like, I feel like there's still a little bit more that's there. But in terms of how the 49ers were doing it, they were too much for Atlanta. So it doesn't really matter how it happens. There'll be games where Brandon's going to be needed more. And I think that's the little portion that I'm talking about where this offense needs to go up one more step, because in the playoffs, things are not going to go the way. Yeah. And yeah, I'm talking about the 49ers making the playoffs too. So yeah.
We're talking playoffs now.
Getting a little ahead of myself right here. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But in certain games, things are not going to go the way that you always script. And I feel like that's the next level of this offense that they need to unlock so they can really become formidable, because right now they have the formula to win games in December and January. Run the shit out of the ball and I know it's a family program. Run the ball and get after the pass. Get after the quarterback with the pass rush. So if the defense is stingy and you're able to run the ball, that travels. Doesn't matter where the game's at. You can play it on Mars. It'll work there too. So, I mean, it's just more about what the 49ers can do. And Brandon Aiyuk will be asked to do whatever it is week to week. And as long as he's ready to go and ready to contribute in whatever way he can, I don't really have a problem with it. But still, there's just that little portion of this offense that is still needing unlocking, and I think can still get there.
Absolutely. And just like you're talking about the 49ers needing to rely on the run game, it's a big portion of their offense, everything they're trying to do. Talk to me about the offensive line, even with Tom Compton in. What are you seeing from the group as a whole? Obviously, we can give all the credit in the world to Trent Williams for being one of the best players, if not the best player in the NFL. What are you seeing from the rest of the guys?
Man, Tom Compton must have heard like what we were saying and stuff.
I swear.
Highest graded offensive player in this past week. What? Man, that'll
He
show
didn't
me.
struggle in pass protection, man. I watched every snap. He didn't struggle in pass pro today, and then he had like 4 pancakes.
That'll show me
this guy.
What is happening? That'll show me.
Right.
I think that again, I don't have to agree with Kyle's methods, right? And we talked about it all offseason. Why is this guy here? What do you do, right? Why are you here? You're Kyle's buddy. Well, that's why Kyle has that trust. Yeah. That's why Kyle trusts him, because in a pinch, you can go to him, and he's playing at a level that none of us could have seen. And I'm 100% happy to be wrong on this, man. But he was great.
Me too.
And I don't know what else needs to be said, man. I feel kind of stupid. I mean, realistically, I talk really crazy about this man, and right now he's balling. And it's just like, again, things that I'm happy to be wrong about. This is definitely one of them. He's been great. Now,
it feels like he's gotten better.
Yeah,
like,
he continues to get better.
Been before this year,
or ever at his highest level.
He's a journeyman. He's started for multiple teams, Vikings, Jets, whatever. I don't know if he's ever played at this level before.
I don't know, man. I want to give credit to Kyle, because I know like Kyle is putting him in spots to win, right? Like, and he's not putting him on the island where, and again, you could take the, I guess, devil's advocate approach here and say, well, it's Atlanta. They don't really have anybody in pass rush. That's true. But still got we've seen him. Yeah, and you kind of seen him get beat other times by lesser pass rushers, right? Like, it's never been about
he was getting beat on stunts, and so that doesn't matter who it is. It's just the action of a stunt, and they're cleaning it up. And Brunskill and Compton are getting better at passing it off. This was by far their best game at passing off stunts.
Just again, another sign of this team hitting their stride at the right time. And everybody always wants to play their best football in December. And right now, that's what the 49ers are doing in all phases, except for one phase. We don't have to talk about that, though, because there's nothing but good vibes going on around here, okay? In 2 phases right now, the 49ers are hitting their stride, okay? 2 phases.
Just offense, 2. 2.5, maybe.
Offense and defense, man, and coaching. 3. There we go. Offense, defense, coaching. All of it's kind of coming together right now. So, nothing but positive vibes, man. We're not doing this, but it's all coming together at the right time, coinciding with some opponents that you should be beating. That's another sign of a good team, right? 31-13. You don't allow this team to hang around. That game never felt even that close that the score showed you. So, yeah, I mean, all of it is kind of trending in the right direction. And again, the 49ers just becoming that dreaded team that nobody wants to play, and other teams are changing. No Godwin for the rest of the year for the Bucs. Fournette's on IR. Yeah, it's a lot going on around other people. You know, again, Arizona lost to Detroit. Dallas is struggling. Shout out Don Burr. There he is. Let's go. Got to get Glover Quinn on the Detroit podcast. Hey, man, make it happen, Don Burr. We get somebody over here for you. Get any of these players on our pods for you. But look, Arizona's struggling. They're doing Arizona things. Cliff Kingsburying it up. Dallas is struggling right now. Tampa's banged up. The only team that really is relatively healthy and probably at their healthiest point that they've ever been is Green Bay. But Green Bay almost lost to Tyler Huntley. No disrespect to him because he's balling. But
I had him going. I started him this week.
Yeah, I started him desperately
he
too. And
out for
guess
me,
who moved
though.
on? But realistically, that's why it's always about playing your best ball going into the postseason. And again, making the dance. It was never about wishing for any of these things to happen, but it's the nature of the game. And you're seeing it. Arizona there's a track record of them falling apart in December. And it's happening a little bit again. They lost 2 in a row. They looked awful.
No DeAndre Hopkins.
Out. No Hopkins. Stir that straw that stirs the drink. Mm-hmm. Dallas, while they beat Washington and the New York Giants, they don't look good on offense right now.
Is that saying much?
It's not. But when you think about the way that offense was humming,
yes.
And I think a lot of what Denver did is out there now, right?
Yes.
Denver kind of shout out Vic Fangio. Might be helping the 49ers more than you think right now. Ran a lot of man match.
We love Vic.
Yeah, love Vic. Big Vic Fangio guy. Should have been the coach here, but we'll argue about that another day.
Yes, we will.
A long time ago. But
off season, the what ifs episodes.
The what if, that's the multiverse episode, right? Everything else is going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's another thing too. I think I made a reference on that on the Sprint Right pod, where in another multiverse, Brad Graham rules the land and Trent Williams wins Offensive Player of the Year in that multiverse, where Brad Graham is the sultan of everything. Right?
That's exactly what would happen. He would get MVP.
Right, exactly. He would win MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, right? But realistically, what Vic Fangio did in that game against Dallas, he ran a lot of man match. Now, obviously, they have personnel because Patrick Surtain's been incredible this year, right? And a lot of people missed that one, right? But you run man match, which means there's another defender who is stopping the crossers. You make Dak go through progressions. You also limit the run game because the run game isn't humming as well. And now there's a blueprint out there. There's a blueprint to stop that. And again, it's a copycat league. So I don't know where we were before I got into all this other stuff about the NFC, but I guess I'll wrap it up with this. The 49ers are playing their best ball going into the playoffs, and a lot of teams have a lot of issues. Right now, the 49ers have less questions around them than these other teams that are better off in terms of record at this point, right? And I think that's the best way to put it. Also,
Absolutely.
Seattle's out.
Yes.
Ha, ha,
ha. End of an era? Just quickly, because we're 49ers fans, and we hate Seattle. It just is what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the end of an era?
Oh, yeah.
No more Pete Carroll. No more Russell Wilson blowing it up.
None of that. It's done. It's done.
It's time to take over the West, boys. It is time to take over the West. So
sorry, man. I would have loved to have been the team that would have squashed it out, obviously. And a lot of people were like,
we could have been.
Yeah. And a lot of people, hit me on Twitter. They were like, yeah, well, they beat us twice. Well, I will gladly trade, as sucky as it is, I will gladly trade 2 losses to the Seattle Seahawks to get into the dance. Like if somebody comes down and they say you can have 2 wins against Seattle and not make the playoffs, or you can lose to them twice and not make the playoffs, it's an easy discussion, and there's no reason that you should even decide at that point.
Absolutely, because the only thing that Seattle fans can hang their hats on is they swept the 49ers. All right,
raise the banner.
Yeah,
raise the banner. Go get the rings printed out.
Entire front office and talent pool. Good job, guys. It is what it is. We on to the Titans for the 49ers. We're going to talk about the man of the hour, man of the year for that case. And Brittany is doing a great job of kind of setting us up and transitioning. I do want to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, what your thoughts are on him, because let's keep it a buck. Jimmy is constantly evolving in regards to kind of what he is. And these last 2 games, we've seen the evolution of Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit away from bad Jimmy, like we've seen in the past. We hear bad and good Jimmy all the time. Brittany Brown says Jimmy 2021 TD to INT ratios 15-8. His 10 starts career is 64-32. Kyle Juszczyk says this team will go as far as Jimmy Garoppolo takes us. What are your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo? And then, of course, what is his ceiling? What's his floor? What's the Jimmy Garoppolo experience like for you right now?
They're winning ball games and he's playing well. I mean, you don't have to be a Jimmy Garoppolo fan to admit that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's so many people dug their heels in on the whole, we're getting rid of him and everything, that now it's even become a point where you can't even say anything nice about him. Right. And that's weak, right? I've given him plenty of crap. But he's playing well. So when people say, oh, well, you said this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, he didn't play well in that game. That's why I was on him.
There was plenty of times, especially throughout the year. I mean, we saw him in person at the Green Bay game. That first half that he had against Green Bay
wasn't good.
Was not good.
But there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's not saying that, oh, my God, he's terrible or anything like that. Like, it's, again, the extremes. He's so polarizing. Yes. On one end, you have people that literally call him the worst quarterback in the world, and that's not true. On the other end, you've got people that want to put him in a top 5 discussion, and that's not true.
No, it's not true.
Why can't it be somewhere in the middle? And why can't we table this discussion about the quarterback for next year? Because it's clear that that's what's going to happen. Jimmy's ceiling and floor, you've seen the floor.
Yeah.
The floor gets pretty low in the basement. Okay. But The ceiling is operating the offense efficiently. No throws.
Mhm.
Right? Like there was none of these. There was none in this game where you were like, oh no, and it was like going right to a defender or something like that.
He was good this game.
Threw the ball in the middle of the field, down the field,
He had
dart
layered
to
throws.
Aiyuk on the slant, dart,
Yep.
absolute dart, and then on a drift
Multiple
route,
darts.
right? On the drift route to Debo, dart. Why can't it just be that he's playing well, and that's it? You don't have to label yourself whatever it is that people are labeling. People who are Jimmy Garoppolo enthusiasts. I don't want to use it or whatever. But
Right.
this extreme discussion around him has gotten to a point where you can't even say simple good things about the man when it's objectively true that he's operating the offense efficiently and playing well. Like, what is
Right.
so wrong with saying that? Even if you've been a detractor of him, or even if you've been critical of him, as I have. I'm critical of everybody who deserves to be criticized. I was critical of Kyle Shanahan, critical of Jimmy Garoppolo, right? At times, they deserve it. But critical and asking for the guy to be benched or Kyle to be fired are two different things. And right now, it's gotten to a point where people can't even say nice things about Jimmy Garoppolo without people jumping into your, like, bro.
It's
like,
so weird.
Here's the worst part. I noticed all these throws on the film too. And I'm like, man, this is a nice throw. I'll cut the clip and I'll post it. No engagement, none on anything that's positive for Jimmy Garoppolo ever. No. It is so strange. It is strange, man. So for me to be labeled a Jimmy hater because I go and do a show with Grant Cohn once a week, it's weird because you never bring up any of the times that I said that he played well. And I never throw any backhanded shade at him or anything like that, right? Like,
no,
wow,
we're being objective evaluators of football.
It's like people only want to hear what they want to hear, and then they want to label you whatever it is, right? I'm just one of Grant Cohn's disciples, someone told me. And I was like, dude, I'm not a disciple. I was like, dude, I'm not a disciple. I just go on and do a show with him. I have my own shit. Like, I don't like
Spicy Aponte is his own brand and his own.
Yeah,
right.
What are you talking about, bro? Like,
yeah, what are you talking about?
I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm doing my own thing. I just go over there and I enjoy that, right? A lot of that has helped me. But like, for you to say that me and him share a lot of views, we don't. We disagree a ton. And that goes to show that you don't watch those shows at all. Like, I even had a comment on one of I think it was the post-game show, right? It's so strange how rent-free Grant lives in people's minds. On YouTube, a comment comes in, you don't have to agree with Grant Cohn all the time. And I was like, was Grant on this video? Like, what on earth are you talking about? I was like, what on earth? I responded to it. I was like, what on earth are you talking about, dude? Did you see Grant in this video? Like, was he behind me or something? Like, but back to the original point. Again, I keep going on tangents in this one.
No, it's great.
It's becoming hard to even just say anything nice without people getting all crazy about it. He's playing well. They're winning games. That's it. Let it go. Trey Lance will play next year. And just because we want to trade to start right away doesn't mean that was the right decision, and the team has won a bunch of games. So that's why they get paid to do what they do, and we just give opinions. And that's it. He's playing well. Give the guy some credit, man, please. Just a little.
Right. And you can look at things through multiple ranges of outcomes, lenses, perceptions, and there is a world where Trey Lance starts week 1, Jimmy Garoppolo's not on the team, and the 49ers have a successful year with Trey Lance as the starter, and we watch him develop and grow and become this good quarterback that we think he can be because he has the ceiling. But guess what? That wasn't in the cards. It wasn't the case. The team tried to tell us this from the start. I admittedly blocked it out, and I was like, oh no, there's a competition going on. There's really good competition going on. He's hiding it from it now. They were with Jimmy from the start. The team continues to tell us they got his back, and I think we're starting to see a bit of a vibe change from Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's starting to feel confident in his role, starting to feel confident with this team, understanding that, the whole Trey Lance dynamic, and that is what it is. And, all that kind of stuff that happened in the beginning of the year kind of feels like that's behind them. And it kind of feels like they're actually just now starting their year from the continuity and vibe standpoint that they were looking for from the start. But we know why it wasn't there. There's a lot of drama. Again, we've seen Kyle, Jimmy, Kittle, Trent, when they're asked a million questions about the quarterback, that affects your vibe. It affects your energy. It affects your thought processes when you're trying to defend one guy, but you got a rookie, and that's a lot to deal with. So
Yeah.
I think it's crystal clear that Trey Lance is not going to see the field this year unless there's an injury. And again, people, even in this game, the 49ers were up decent amount, the 2 scores, right? Put Trey Lance in. Put Trey Lance in. It's like, okay, I can understand that on one point, but on the other point, this team is also a team that has struggled to maintain and hold leads. So it feels like an opportunity to keep them out there and keep them in this type of situation where they can continue to flex and practice and holding leads, maintaining leads. And they did it. They were able to win the game 31-13 over the Falcons, and they kept their starters in. I thought it was a pretty solid situation and a process. But overall, Jimmy Garoppolo has been playing well. And to Brittany's point, I believe Kyle Juszczyk when he says we will go as far as Jimmy Garoppolo takes us. And I think when they talk about his vibe and his energy, it became a little bit of a story about how, Juice and George were sitting at breakfast and like, oh, Jimmy feels different. We feel the
Angry
vibe.
different. Angry Jimmy.
Yeah. So whatever. If that's what it, and I think we're all kind of are starting to understand when Jimmy's not in a good spot, he doesn't play well, and the team kind of suffers as a result. But we're also seeing when Jimmy's in a good spot and he feels confident, the team responds to it. And so with him kind of taking these steps forward in his own development, it feels like the offense is taking steps forward as a result. So do you think that's something that we'll continue to see against the Titans? Or do you think it's going to be one of those situations? It's a short week, travel, it's prime time. What do you kind of what is your like projection of which Jimmy are we going to see against the Titans?
I thought that he was going to have a great game against Atlanta. It said so on the fantasy football show that I do on Sunday. When someone asked me between this player and this player, I would say start Jimmy. I think he's going to have a great week. But I'm such a hater, man. I'm always such a hater. But here's the thing. I think he's going to be fine in this game. Again, the matchups bear it out where he's gonna have his shots at the secondary, and I like it. I like it, especially when you look at the way Kittle, Debo, and Aiyuk have been playing, and maybe the run game slips a little, but I think he's going to be fine. I think that he's been playing very well, and what a better time than now for him to boost that confidence. Play well, continue to ascend. It's all coming together for him right now. He's taking advantage of what he should be taking advantage of, and I think that at this point he's doing everything that is being asked. One more thing, and another thing about Jimmy Garoppolo, man. He's so damn likable. Did you guys get a chance to see the 49ers posted that he was mic'd up? And if you haven't, I implore anybody to go on social media. I think on Twitter, it's like a 6-minute clip of him being mic'd up during the game, him talking. He's so damn likable, man. I swear. Like, I understand.
Like, you understand why this team is going to go to war for him matter what. No matter how he plays on the field, they're like, that's our guy.
Hell yeah. And it's like, even me, I'm like, damn, I've kind of been of the proponent of like, well, don't worry about what you say. It doesn't hurt his feelings, anything like that. He's a millionaire at the end of the day. But I'm starting to feel bad kind of because people say some crazy stuff about the dude, man. And I'm just like, damn, man, he's devastatingly
crazy on that man's name.
He's devastatingly handsome and he seems like a chill dude, man. Like he's actually really cool, man. And right now he's playing well, but like, I know none of that has to do with like football or anything like that, but you can see why this locker room likes him, man. Again, I'm going to say this again. A lot of players on this team have only seen success at this level with Jimmy Garoppolo. So naturally, you're going to gravitate towards that. Then when you throw in all that other stuff, it seems like he's very well liked in this locker room. I don't think that there should have ever been a discussion about that. I don't think that there ever really was.
Yeah, but I kind of feel, and I want to know what you think. Do you feel like how he's handled this? I know they talked about it, but do you think he's handled this Trey Lance situation has just like cemented him more in this locker room?
Got a lot of respect from a lot of guys in that locker room for the way that he's done things. Answered every question, stood right up in front of everybody, and
didn't shy away from competition. Didn't say trade me immediately.
And never pouted openly. Seems to have a great relationship. Trey's talked about how well him they get along, and it's again, man. I understand. Everybody always wants to say, well, and I've said it too. he's a millionaire, he'll be fine. There's still a human element to it, and there's still a way that you can handle this, right? Like Brett Favre wasn't cool with Aaron Rodgers being there. Like
Tom Brady wasn't cool with Garoppolo either.
Right. Like it's not, like I think Jimmy's handling this the best way that he knows how. And there needs to be some credit that is thrown his way towards that. And I understand, he's a professional, all that stuff. He should be able to do that. But think about if you had a job, right? Let's say you had a job. You're a manager somewhere. And they bring in somebody and they say, okay, this guy's going to sit behind you. And next year he's taking your job. How would you feel? Would you be able to?
Would you perform at your best level?
Would you want to perform at your best level? Or would you want to say, man, get out of here? Why am I going to be grooming my replacement, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be grooming my resume and I'm going to get another job.
And I'm on Indeed all day, right? Trying to get a new job, right? You know what I'm saying?
I'm on LinkedIn all like I'm getting paid.
I know that's how I would feel. And even if I was making millions of dollars, I don't want to see the guy right behind me get picked up. So I think that he deserves a lot of credit when it comes to that. And when you break it down to that, I think it's easier to understand that he is doing a really good job when it comes to this.
Yeah, I agree. Harold says, Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for the game analysis. Always great show. Go 49ers. Thank all of you guys in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of good compliments from you guys. It makes Jason and I feel fantastic when you guys drop a nice
I love you guys. Happy holidays. We're having a lot of fun, man. I can't believe we're covering a playoff team right now, man. What a time to be alive.
What a freaking time to be alive. And Brittany's dropping bangers left and right. She says, am I cray to think this season version of Jimmy G is better than Brady, Wilson, Hurts, Baker, Hill, Cousins, Goff, Fields, our Prince, Newton, Ryan, Roethlisberger, Tannehill? Ooh, this is a spicy one.
Everybody but Brady. Everybody on this list but Brady, including Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is not
cooked this year.
No.
He's been cooking top ramen this year. It's not been
great. And not to knock top ramen, man. I got by a lot on that when I lived alone for the first time.
99 cents pack. Let's go.
Right. When I first moved out on my own when I was 21, I kind of lived on it like for a long time. So, but at the same time, I think it's very.
I lived on it. Like you come up with the different types. So you add cheese. You add like
throw an egg on it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like jail stuff. Yeah, like
egg.
Yeah. See, I mean, that's the definition of let Russ cook this year. It's not it's not the same thing. It's not
that
right?
filet mignon. It's that gourmet top ramen.
Right. It's not like when you have some money in your account and you're like, you know what, we're gonna Uber Eats tonight. Let's get something fire. You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah. Your taste in food goes on what's in your bank account. Anyway,
exactly.
Man, we're all over the place here. But
dude, I love it. I think it's quality.
I would say everybody but Brady on this list right now, right? Jalen Hurts, offers what he offers in his legs, but he's still struggling to go through progressions. I just watched JT O'Sullivan's video on that. It was actually really good. A lot of it has to do with what they're calling, but he does miss a lot of things. Baker has not played well this year. Taysom Hill, I don't even want to have that discussion. Kirk Cousins is the one.
Quarterback, man.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is the one that maybe we have a little bit more of a discussion on right now.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Jimmy did beat Cousins in that game, so I could see where you got that. Goff hasn't necessarily been good. Our Prince, unfortunately, is taking his bumps and bruises right now, and it's hard to watch, man. Yeah, he's a rook. Going through his thing. Cam, unfortunately, that's an L that I've got to own because right now he's not playing well, and he is every bit the part of what everybody was trying to tell me he was last year. So I've got to own that one. Matt Ryan is too up and down. 1 week he shows you that he's playing very well. Then the next week it's like, you get what you got last week. Roethlisberger is basically a diminished version of Jimmy right now. Does not push the ball at all downfield. Everything is really like in the middle of the field. And Tannehill's struggling right now without Derrick Henry. So I think all of this is fair. I really do. I think there's an argument for all of them. The two that I would give a little pushback on, obviously Brady and then Cousins. But everybody else, I think that's absolutely fair.
I don't think I need to add to it. I think that's 100% right. I think the way you broke it down, I mean, Roethlisberger is toast. Ryan is good, but he doesn't have a good supporting cast, so it doesn't translate into him being well. And again, everyone else, you hit right on the head. That's 100%. I agree. McLovin says real 49er fans don't watch Grant Cohn. I disagree with that.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, it is what it is, man.
I don't know why we need to slander Grant.
It's all right. It is. Look, it is what it is. Look, two things I'll say real quick so we can stop talking about him because it seems like he lives rent-free in my head now.
Right.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah. And a lot of people watch him They hate watch his show.
Angry.
Which you're playing into his hands a little bit when it comes to that. You know?
Grant's a smart man.
He knows what he's doing, but y'all take the bait way too much.
It took me one time. It took me the first time I watched Grant Cohn video. I was like, oh, I get it all. Like, I get the tweeting. I get it. Like, it makes perfect sense. So I tip my cap to Grant. Yeah. Grant, you might not like the way he covers the team. I know a lot of people do. And we'll get off Grant because this isn't the Grant Cohn show.
Say the Grant Cohn show.
Yeah, but Grant knows what he's doing. He's smart. Yeah. He's a master of engagement. And in a world that lives on engagement, he's winning.
When you guys mention him, like, and you're just like, blah, 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 you're playing into his hands, exactly. Right? Like, there's plenty of people.
We're talking about Grant Cohn and we're defending Grant Cohn. Like,
and it's funny. Look, this is me, right? If I don't like somebody or something, I don't talk about them and I don't look at their stuff. Bottom line.
It's like you're giving your energy to that.
You're giving your energy in the wrong way. There's plenty of people that I don't enjoy their content. Nothing personal. I just don't. There's plenty of people. Like, I hopped on Twitter today and I was looking through some tweets and I'm like, it says owner of tweet has limited. And I'm like, oh, do they have a lock? I'm blocked. And I've never interacted with any of these people. So some people out there on Twitter are like, man, I hate Jason so much. I'm blocking his ass. I'm just going to block his ass. So it is what it is. Like, if you don't like it, don't look. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel. That's it.
It is. And
that's why. You know what I always think, Brad? Like, when I see that I'm blocked by somebody on Twitter, I'm like, man, what was the tweet that pushed them over the edge? Was it the McKinnon from the Wildcat tweet? Or was it like me joking about like somebody sitting or something like that? Like, what was the tweet that they could say, that's it, I've had enough of this guy. I can't take his face anymore. I'm getting him out of here.
Mitch Wishnowsky slander must stop at all costs.
How dare you? The punting EPA is through the roof. The punting EPA is through the roof, man.
Have you seen the banana balls, Jason? Come on now. Come on, Jason. Get it together.
Having too much fun, man. Having too much fun.
This is a great one. Appreciate that, Custodio. Really do. So this has been a fun episode, man. It's been a lot of fun. It's always fun when the 49ers are winning. I believe, again, just to, throw it out there, since Jason and I started the State of the Franchise episode, I think the 49ers started it right before week 8 after the Colts games. The 49ers have only lost 2 games in that span. So I'm just saying.
Give us our flowers too.
Exactly.
We're part of the turnaround. You're welcome, guys.
You're welcome. This energy permeates. That's just welcome. Like we were talking about earlier.
Sourdough Squad and Jay.
Spicy Aponte.
And we link up, and that's it. Look at all the energy, man. You're welcome, 49ers fans. You are welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
So how are the 49ers going to keep the energy against the Titans, though? That's the real question. We understand what trap games look like. This is the definition of a trap game. How do they keep the energy? That's a legitimate question. How do they not come out flat? Again, everything is stacking in their direction. Again, they're hot at the right time. The Titans are losing players, but we've seen this story before. The 49ers shouldn't have lost to the Arizona Cardinals. They shouldn't have lost to the Seattle Seahawks twice. So how do they keep the energy up? How do they make sure this isn't a trap game?
Well, I think realistically, I don't know if it can be a trap game with a team that was 1 game out of the 1 seed from the AFC, right?
I love the thought process because I never thought about it like that. When you're looking at the 2 records and they're close, is it a trap game in that sense?
I mean, if they would have won that game against Pittsburgh, they would have been the number 1 seed in the AFC overall. Right. So I think that in terms of what you mean, in terms of trap game, is playing down to a team that right now is missing players and is struggling, right? No Derrick Henry. We talked about the offensive line, and the offensive line, even when healthy, wasn't exactly great. Probably get AJ and Julio back. Who knows at what capacity, right? But in terms of that, I understand what you mean because there is a bit of a letdown, right? It could happen. But here's why I don't think it will happen. Kyle Shanahan has been great with this team on the East Coast and moving, right? And being able to prepare. And I think that a lot of that and the way that this team is prepared, relatively healthy, get Azeez Al-Shaair back. You'll see more Ward and Tartt. What's happening with Demeco Ryans, how Jimmy Garoppolo's playing, how this offense has been moving. I think that this 49er team is not due for a letdown in this game, and I do think that they win this game. Now, how much do they win that by? Well, I guess I have to give a score prediction because the game's tomorrow, right? And I almost wanted
That's
to hold off on that.
that's
I can't
crazy.
believe it. I can't believe it, right? Like I felt like we've been
Yeah.
talking about the Falcons game, and it's like all this stuff. Like tonight, another sprint right option because we have to do the preview, and then tomorrow is immediately the game, right? So
Right.
like the content's ramping up. Like we're trying our best
Yes.
to get it all out, man. But
Yep.
I just don't think that this is going to be that letdown game. I think this team right now is rolling in a direction that it's cohesive. Everything feels good. There's really good vibes no matter what, and everything is falling into place. When you put, Kyle Shanahan's East Coast record and how this team performs on the other side, on our side, on my side of the country, that just is another feather in the cap. So I just think that honestly, the 49ers are going to go out there and they're going to handle business, and they're going to beat a team that they are better than at this point. Records be damned, whatever it is. I believe they do have a better record than the 49ers do. But when you look at the matchups, I really don't see where the 49ers can really lose this game unless, again, they just shoot themselves in the foot. So
Absolutely. Brittany's dropping her score predictions. You guys drop your score predictions in the chat. We'll pull them up. She's got it, and it's a great conversation to start on. She's got it 17-13. So that kind of tells me that the vibe maybe isn't there. And they're both kind of chugging along through the game, trying to get things to work. I mean, again, Titans are limping into this, and if the 49ers only win 17-13, they're probably not playing their best game imaginable. Do you think it's going to be a lower scoring game, or do you think the 49ers are going to kind of stick on this trend? Feels like they've been scoring 30 points or more for a majority of these games, at least when the offense is operating. So do you think it could be a potentially smaller margin of victory, or what are you kind of thinking?
it's possible, but I wanted to point out the fact that I think the 49ers have scored 3+ touchdowns every single game for like the last like 5 or 6 games. Seriously, like this
Yeah.
offense is rolling right now.
Yeah.
And largely, a lot of what was stopping the offense to begin with was just interceptions, fumbles, things like that. And I don't think that, I mean, it's possible that the game is close like that, but I don't think that the 49ers are not going to score points in this game. I really think that if it is close, it's because maybe the defense slips a little, which I don't think that'll happen. And the way this offense has been rolling, they've been putting up 30 almost every week. So I don't see the path to the Titans scoring a ton of points, especially with everybody getting healthy. But I don't see this 49ers offense slowing down. I don't. Just right now where they are, it's just been clicking. And that's it. They're the hotter team right now. So everything kind of points itself into the favor of the 49ers scoring 25 and up. And I think they will. I probably score around 27, probably 30 points. And
Ellis is saying 3 days to prepare will hinder the 49ers offense. What
nah,
do you think?
Kyle's kind of been preparing for this. Kyle knows.
He's been talking about it, right?
Right. Like he specifically said right after the game, like, like he had eyes on that Thursday game. He had eyes on it already. So this isn't something that they're just like trying to move around really quickly to. They know exactly what they were doing in terms of, okay, this is how we beat the Falcons. And then boom, we get right on to Tennessee. And he's already been working maniacally on that. So I'm not really worried about that, honestly. I think that, again, this offense is moving. This offense is cohesive right now, and they're playing well. And coach is in his bag. Coach had eyes on this game a while ago. Like, he knew the schedule. He knew how this was all going to play out. So I don't really think that that's really going to be an issue, in my opinion.
I agree. I think they're firing at the right time. I feel like if they were coming out of the Seahawks game, I think we would be having a little bit of a different discussion. But I think with the way that they're playing, and like Jason talked about, the way they're working on the short week, Kyle has been preparing, and he's been talking about how they're cognizant of it's like they're dual preparing. It was like they've been preparing for the Titans while they've been preparing for the Falcons. And I think these guys want this win. I mean, everyone wants to win. Like that's cliche to say, but how much have they talked about being home for Christmas? Again, you have guys that have been in this league for 10 years that have been at the podium saying, I've never celebrated Christmas with my family without working. And so I think that's another little human element notch up, maybe get the energy going. Because if you can get that dub, fly home from Tennessee to then go celebrate with your family, it feels like it would be a great time for them to just keep things rolling. So I'm not necessarily worried too much about the offense. Tommy says I skipped him. I don't see it. Oh, there. 3-2 Niners. Oh, nice. Good thing.
Whoa.
Good thing we went back to that one.
So Robbie Gould's the MVP.
Robbie Gould. So we got a safety and Robbie Gould bringing it home. Let's go. Robbie Gould truthers balling everywhere. Mike says Trey Sermon and El Jefe masterclass tomorrow. Do you anticipate the 49ers getting Trey Sermon back?
I'd love to see it because he would immediately slide into the role. I know that a lot of people are big on Jermichael Hasty. Unfortunately, it's just not right now. It's more out of necessity that he's on the field. Like if Kyle had more running backs available, they would have banished Jermichael Hasty to the phantom zone because of those because of those fumbles, man, and the way that he was on kickoff.
Yeah, dude, he's got to hold on to the football.
You just don't have players, right? And you can't do that.
Depth is an issue.
Right, so you live with that. So I would love to see Trey Sermon because what a feather in the cap for the 49ers. I keep using that one. I don't know why. I feel like my old-ass dad saying that stupid saying. Anyway, if Trey Sermon is able to get going in a tandem with Jeff Wilson, you get Elijah Mitchell back next week, man, this offense becomes that much more potent because now you're not relying on Elijah Mitchell to tote that thing 30 times because he's never built to do that, and you shouldn't be doing that with him. So, again, what travels in December, in January, running game. I would love to see Trey Sermon get on track. And if he can be somebody who has fresh legs because he largely hasn't been used this year, he can be somebody who's a contributor down the stretch. That would be huge. One more thing I wanted to talk about is the weather in Tennessee is actually going to be better than it is in the Bay in terms of degrees and temperature.
Kind of a lucky break. Yeah.
Global warming,
it's
baby.
raining out here. Dude, it's raining tough out here right now.
Global warming, baby. But it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be like 60 degrees. So it's not going to be cold wild. Or anything like that. Like you'll be able to throw the ball. I mean,
that's wild. It's going to be 60 degrees out in Tennessee this time of the year.
Something like that. I thought I saw that weather report come out. Look, put it like this. I'm on the East Coast right now. It was like 45 today. It almost felt like you could just walk out in shorts and stuff. Like that's not in December.
Nothing's changing with our weather. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine, right? In December, like last year, literally, I was going through my Instagram memories. Last year, this time, we had a foot of snow. It has not snowed once since we've been out here. And now watch that. Oh, yeah. Like all of a sudden tomorrow, it's just like a whole snowstorm. Or
a big storm just comes out of left field, takes them out.
The weather's going to be good. So it won't be something that you need to worry about in terms of passing the ball or anything like that. But it would be great to have Trey Sermon come back and, be somebody down the stretch that they can count on because he does have fresh legs for whatever reason. Yeah. So, yeah.
I feel like it's the El Jefe show. It's going to be the same, a lot of the same.
Trey has to be activated. His window's open. He hasn't necessarily been activated yet. And it's the same thing with A.J. Brown. Like, they have until about 4 o'clock
21
tomorrow.
days, I believe.
Yeah, no, well A.J., overall. Like, if he's going to play tomorrow by 4, I believe is the deadline that he needs to be activated for him to be able to be on game day. So I would say the same for Trey Sermon. So he hasn't been activated just yet. And it would be really nice to see him come back if he is able to. But, Jermichael Hasty's playing because of necessity.
It would be nice to see him come back, but also, too, just like when he was available against the Vikings, he just played special teams, and he got hurt on special teams. So Trey Sermon is still a work in progress. I know he has the ability, but just kind of like Elijah Mitchell a little bit, still trying to learn how to run behind this offensive line, and that takes time. So might be a little while. We'll see what happens with Trey Sermon, but I do imagine we'll see a lot of El Jefe against the Titans, and at the right time. He's running really well and running really strong right now. Mm-hmm. I'm probably going to destroy your name, so I apologize in advance. Kirabel. I'm sorry, I tried. He says, I think the teams we got to worry about in the playoffs are teams with mobile quarterbacks. I mean, the 49ers have struggled with mobile quarterbacks in the past. I'd rather play against the Bucs in the first round than other division winners. What do you think? Do you want Tom Brady?
I don't. I want to put that off first. I want to put that off as far as I can. Meaning, if he gets to the NFC Championship and that's where the 49ers are, then that's when it's just like, whatever, inevitable. I do never listen. Never. Ever. Don't call the boogeyman's name. Don't do this. Please don't do this. I've seen it on Twitter too. Don't do it. Every single time you feel like this is it. He can't. Do not. Ever. Don't. What I will say about the mobile quarterback thing, though, is this. I feel way better about it. I feel way better about it, and I'll tell you why.
Aziz and Fred.
Yes, that and Demeco. Now,
Yes.
the first Arizona game, Kyler Murray was largely ineffective running the ball. Kept him in the pocket, put him in bad spots. The 49ers haven't been killed by mobile quarterbacks lately. Jalen Hurts, that was the last time that happened. The last time. And that was week 2. That was week 2. I don't feel so bad. I don't feel so bad about mobile quarterbacks. With Dak, again, I just don't fear it in that way. I don't think that he's running as much as he used to anyway. I think that he wants to stay in that pocket. Yeah, he's just not taking off. Rodgers isn't mobile. Rodgers just moves. He's not a statue. Rodgers just moves.
He knows how to move within the pocket.
Right. I'm not worried about it. I'm really not at this point. But as far as like wanting Brady, I don't want Brady. Let somebody else beat them. I hope they get a matchup with somebody and they like shit the bed the first game and you don't even have to worry about him. Because if he's out the way, then you start to feel way better about it. But like calling Tom Brady's name and saying, oh, I want him, that's not smart. I don't want to do that. No, man. No.
No, man.
No, man.
No. You want to know another reason why it's no, man? Because we talk about the human element a lot on this podcast. Tom Brady wanted to come to the 49ers. He gave the 49ers every opportunity to sign him at a rate that fits all of that. He said he wasn't going to go anywhere else. He wanted to go play for his childhood team. What did the 49ers do? They said, no, we're sticking with Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, well, some people will be like, whatever. He's with the Bucs. He's won a Super Bowl. He was talking about Jimmy Garoppolo and that situation this offseason after he won the Super Bowl. Remember that whole situation with that, I think it was the shop or whatever, where he's like talking with the LeBron and he's all that stuff. And they're talking about, you're going to keep this he's talked about it. He talked about how the 49ers not wanting him gave him another level of motivation.
Right.
So do not ask for Tom Brady.
And that's the thing, right? Is a lot of people don't, I don't know if a lot of people have made this correlation, but Tom Brady is the Michael Jordan of the NFL. And here's why. Obviously, there's a level of dominance that you've never seen, right? When Tom Brady's like, that's why when people make this argument about, well, how many mobile quarterbacks have won Super Bowls? Well, Russell Wilson did, but you're living in the age of Tom Brady. This is not real, right? Like, this is not real. Michael Jordan stopped many Hall of Fame players from winning championships. Many, right?
Many.
And when you watched, which I didn't, the Last Dance documentary, because I just can't take the puff piece on like Michael Jordan. Like, I get it. You're great. We get it. Like, I'm good. But all he needs is a little bit of something to make it personal, right? And I took that personally, right?
Yes,
and Tom Brady is the same way, bro. At any moment that you sit there and you're like, oh, nah, he can't without Godwin. He can't without Evans. He can't. Do not. That's the one thing that I learned, because I thought, right? Here's the revisionist history that a lot of people forget, because everybody's all mad about, oh, well, Brady wanted to come here and you didn't, right? Hand up. I was one of those people that said, I don't want him. I think he's washed.
I said the same thing. I was like, oh, Jimmy off a Super Bowl with the ACL, he'll get better.
Stick with Jimmy. He's going to get better. Stick with Jimmy. He's going to get better. Did you watch him with the Patriots? He was not that good. I don't want him. Why are you going to pay him all that money? Guess who's a bozo? Me.
And me.
Guess who heard all that? Brady.
Yes.
Brady heard every single word of all of that. Now, look, going to the Bucs, obviously, that's like the best wide receiver group that you could have. Evans, Godwin. Then you throw AB in there. His crazy.
Yeah, whenever he's ready to go.
Right. And then look at Gronk. Gronk stopped playing football, right? Yep. And obviously that changes things. And Bruce Arians is a damn good coach, right? So it's not all just like Brady is all of a sudden like, he definitely picked the place that they were a quarterback away. But Brady just needs that little bit from you, me, pundits, people loudly saying, oh, he can't get it done. I will not be one of those people. And I'll be happy to be wrong. But I do not want Tom Brady. I don't. And I'm not trying to disrespect the donation or anything like that. I'm afraid.
No, it's a great talking point.
That's the boogeyman, though.
Going.
That's the boogeyman right there. That's the one that I want to put that off, and I hope somebody else slays him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people see the Bucks get shut out against the Saints, and the Saints aren't that great. And they're like, ooh, maybe they're weak. It's a week to week league. We understand that, especially this year
Division
more
game.
than yeah, especially this year more than any other year. The parity across the league, week to week. We don't know who's good. We don't know who's bad. It's like who can be consistently good the longest. And right now, the 49ers are one of those teams because they've had 2 good games in a row. But you go back 3 weeks, they were ass against Seattle. So it's what have you done for me lately? And that won't ever change with this league. But yes, no Tom Brady.
No,
He does not like us right now. He used
no,
to like us. He used to love us. He wanted to be a part of us.
no,
Now he wants to murder us. And
no,
I don't want Tom Brady on my head. I don't want
no.
that. No, thank you.
Give me Aaron Rodgers. I don't care how well he's playing right now. Give me everybody else at this
Exactly.
point.
I'll take Aaron over Tom Brady. 100%.
Absolutely, 100%. Man, let's try to put that off as long as we can.
Aaron is over the 49ers not selecting him at 1. He's over it. He's won championships. He's won MVPs. He doesn't care anymore.
No.
Tom Brady, that was what, 2 years ago? Oh, it's still fresh in his mind.
He would love to eliminate the 49ers. Good God.
Absolutely. Keldon says, consider how many games outside of Lumen and Levi that we get good Jimmy. It's almost every game. Did
Philly
he play
game
well against Seattle?
Philly game was okay. That really,
He had a better second half than the first half.
For sure. Detroit, he was fine.
Yes, he was fine in Detroit. Green Bay was at home.
Green Bay, that was at home, right? Yeah, that's kind of fair. I would say that's kind of fair. Look, Jimmy's playing fine this year. He's actually playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Again, you can say nice things about Jimmy Garoppolo, guys. It's okay. He's the quarterback of your team, whether you want it or not. And I better not see anybody rooting against him just because you want to be right about, well, they should have started Trey Lance this entire time. I better not see that. Yes, that's it. I gotta get over Terry McLaurin not being on my team, and I gotta get over Justin Fields not being the pick or whatever. I gotta get over all that, but you can't get over this. Come on.
Fact.
Did you see Terry McLaurin in that jump ball yesterday? A tear came down my eye.
Get it together, guys.
Come on, guys. Come on. This is such a fun episode.
Rodeo.
I'm having a blast, man.
Yeah, this is great. Here's an awesome question. Brittany Brown says Jimmy Ward is a top 3 free safety. True or false? I'll let you.
True. And he ain't top 3, and he ain't top 2. I mean, he's top 2, but he might not be 2.
He might be 1.
He might be 1. This is absolutely true. 100%.
He's in the conversation for sure.
Come on, man. And it has been for a while. And, for all those people that wanted interceptions, you got them. Now what you going to say? I mean, did you see that stop on 4th down? I mean, come on, man. Guy's a baller. It's great.
He's a baller.
Great.
He's always in position.
And he's a holdover from Harbaugh, Tom Sula, Kelly. He's seen it all. And now,
when do you ever see players make it through 2 regimes, let alone 4? Like, put some respect on that man's name.
Sure
he's getting it, though. He's getting it this year.
Oh, no, he is now. Lifetime 49ers, though. Do not mess around. Do not play around.
No, seriously.
Seriously. Lifetime 49er. Never let him go. Ever.
I mean, they might be talking extension next year, depending on, because with his contract length and where it's at, how he's been playing. It was great. I got to speak to Jimmy Ward. We did a live together. I hopped on one of them, and he talked about how he took less money from the 49ers. He got a bigger offer to go play for the Raiders, and he turned it down to come back for the 49ers. So this dude's a 49ers legend forever. He is not. He shouldn't be going anywhere. And it's really good to see kind of his transformation. Brittany says November 25th, 2001, after a loss to the 49ers that dropped the Colts to 4-6, Mora made his famous playoffs.
A lot of people don't remember that or realize that was after the 49ers beat the Colts.
Know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Playoffs, 49ers owned Green Bay. Different this year. What do you think about that?
Well, the 49ers
Brittany's going back in the time machine.
She's MVP, man, right now. But the 49ers were 30 the 49ers were 33 seconds away from beating the Green Bay Packers. And they played pretty bad the first half.
Yes.
I mean,
terribly, actually.
I mean, look, I just talked about like not wanting to call Tom Brady's name. The Packers don't want to see the 49ers.
No.
I don't care
No.
where the game is. It could be at Lambeau. Lambeau's not some place that all of a sudden you can't beat people. After Mike Vick crushed the buildings, it's not that place no more. Colin did it. Plenty of people. Brady did it. Plenty of people go in there and win games.
Beathard
Almost
was a defensive stop away from beating Aaron Rodgers on Monday Night Football.
Oh, but you don't know the real reason that the 49ers were in a chance to win that game. That was because Coach was at his drippiest he's ever been. The black on black on black. The black the black Shannon hat, the black Niners jacket that nobody could find with the black hoodie under it. If that Kyle shows up at any point, at any game, and he's wearing that, just know on the other side, you about to get worked. And he almost did it. He almost pulled it off right in that game. So, no, I just think that realistically, right? Green Bay, for whatever reason, it didn't look like that earlier in that game. We were there. It looked like that game was about to get run away with a little bit, right? It felt like that, just the way the 49ers were playing. But they hang tough, make adjustments, change things up. The Trey Lance touchdown had a lot to do with that, right? Had a lot to do with it. Gave a little bit of motivation. You score, you get the ball back. Boom, you score again. Boom, you're back in the game. And, you know, they
took Jimmy's ass out, too, after 3 wide receivers dropped touchdown passes in a row.
Yeah. So, again, Green Bay don't want those problems. They don't. Especially if this team is ascending and they're playing the way that they are. Like, Green Bay's defense has been really good this year. And they are. Right now, what Green Bay is, they're in the best position of all the NFC teams. They're probably going to get this first round bye. And they're probably going to be the healthiest. So that's important. Only one bye this year. And that's important. But even at their healthiest, still the 49ers present problems to them. And that's the thing. Obviously, all playoff teams will. But I don't think Green Bay's looking at Dallas like, oh, man, they can end our season. I think that they look at the 49ers like, oh, damn, we don't want those problems, right? They beat the Rams already.
They remember what happened in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Twice.
Oh, yeah.
In 2019.
Oh, yeah, but they beat the Rams already, right? They kind of handily beat them. And, like, when the 49ers pop up, the whole, like, you know, there's still something going on between LaFleur and Kyle, and that would be Jack. But the 49ers are in a better spot to beat them than a lot of people on the outside looking in who don't have the connections that we do. Like, we're 49er fans. We know, like, that then they believe, right? Like, a lot of people will probably just dismiss it and say, well, the Packers are rolling. It's different. There's something about the way the 49ers match up with them. And I think that that's the problem more than anything.
There's a legitimate like big brother, little brother syndrome that happens in the NFL sometimes. It's just what it is. There's certain teams where you match up really well. You know exactly what they're trying to accomplish. You know how to attack them. You know how they're trying to attack you. I'm going to tip my cap to the Green Bay Packers earlier this year because they knew exactly what the 49ers were trying to do to them in that first half. That was why they had such a difficult time getting into that game, is because Green Bay on defense knew exactly what the 49ers were trying to do to them, and they just stopped it, and they just sold out to beat it. So, but the 49ers still almost came back and won that game with Jimmy Garoppolo at a time where he was, you know, pretty hot and cold throughout, you know, that portion of the year. So with the Green Bay Packers, man, the 49ers, I think that's the team we want. Just like Jason was saying, like, that's who we want to see in the playoffs. We want to see someone like the Green Bay Packers where, you know, we know Raheem Mostert owns the Green Bay Packers literally. But, you know, maybe Jeff Wilson takes part ownership this year. So we'll see.
Maybe Elijah Mitchell's there.
Ooh, maybe Elijah Mitchell's there. So before we get out of here, Jason, I mean, we've been going for an hour 40. We could probably go for another hour.
Hell yeah. Well, I mean, but this is all right. This is an exciting time right now to be covering the team and to be a fan of the team. But also, tomorrow's game day. Tomorrow is game day. It's insane, man. We're like literally
chugging through content.
The schedule today. Once I get done here, give Averly a bath, get her ready for bed, sprint right option, and then, you know, all right, let's plug it a little bit.
Plug it.
I started my Patreon, and tonight
Let's
is
go.
our first Zoom film breakdown, questions,
Yes,
all those things that you guys want.
sir.
Anything you if you want access to that content, you could sub to Patreon too,
Over this
man.
way. Dude. Shoot. Do you have a link? You want to drop it in the
Well,
chat?
let me see. Can I do that? I don't think
I mean,
it'll
we
allow me
got
to.
we got a lot of people in here I think who enjoyed our content, and obviously Jason is a huge reason for that. So there's going to be more on the Patreon. So if you can get the link in here, absolutely hop into that, because knowing Jason and knowing where we're going this off season, those Patreons are going to be clutch.
Man, and when you
For
talk about
content.
all the draft content that we're gonna have, I'm gonna
Woo!
copy it real quick, and then I'm gonna
Get it
see
in
if I
there.
can. I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna text it to you because I can't do it
Okay.
right now because you're in control of it. But I will drop it in here. There's
Drop
three
it in the
tiers.
private chat. Drop it in the private chat if you can. I'll copy paste.
All right. Let me see if I can do that actually. You know what? I think I can do that actually. So the thing is there's three tiers. There's a portion for yep, I can do that actually. There's a portion that'll just be film breakdowns, Zoom calls where we'll be able to just talk, ask questions, whatever, look at film, whatever you want. And I have the link right here. So I will be able to add that actually right now. And there's another tier. The highest tier actually allows you to get a podcast that is not going to be on YouTube, will not be on any audio portions, will just be solely for the Patreon community, where it's much more unfiltered. Much more unfiltered. Not watching language, not really caring
the
about
real
where
spicy Aponte will be coming.
that's where it's at. That's where it's at right there. So I mean, hey, look, I understand if you guys don't want to, cool, I get it, but this is something that I'm trying to offer to people because people have asked for it, and just another way to connect with people more than anything. Connect with you guys, learn a little bit more. Let's be cooler. Let's hang out. We're gonna hop on the Zoom tonight. We'll look at some film, answer some questions. You guys can give your opinions on what you think is going on, and we'll just have conversation and just hang out, man. So I think that's a good way to look at it. Let me get this real quick, and I'll get this.
Yeah,
going.
get it in there. Someone's asking me if I have a mullet. I don't. I got the locks. We got the flow going. I don't have the mullet yet. It could be coming, but no, we're banging it out. Long hair.
Oh, this is easy. All right.
You
know
the vibes.
This is easy. It's
you get
Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jason Aponte. That's it.
Patreon.com/Jason Aponte.
Yep. So you guys check it out. You let me know what you guys want to do if you do want to do anything like that. But today we are going to be doing our first bit of content on there. There was a lot of people that were showing love and already subbed, and they understand that. Yeah, we have a lot of fun, but any little money that I make here at all, it goes to helping take care of my daughter, and that's all I really care about. That's it.
We're working. This is how we provide for our families. I mean, it's fantastic that we get to talk about 49ers football, do the things that we love, talk about our passions, do all that, but we also get to provide for our families doing it at the same time. And, I know Averly is going to have a good Christmas because she got our boy working all day long, night and day. We see you. Luke Luna says Jimmy G is bringing out his chef knives. Watch and cooks.
Clock and cooks
might be over my head, but
you
we
boomer.
Also got right. Chris says Mitchell has the quickness to hurt Green Bay 100. Really, the only difference between him and Mostert is their run vision,
and that speed is different.
Yeah.
That Mostert speed is different, and that can't be duplicated. That 4.3, that's different. But I absolutely agree with the run vision, Chris, and you're absolutely right about that. But that speed, that's different. And game speed. Right? Not just running track, right? Like running in a straight line with game speed, running away from giant men trying to tackle you. That speed is different. That cannot be duplicated. Can't be duplicated.
No. And the way he runs with patience, that can't be duplicated either. The ability to ride in like a second gear and then pop it out to full speed right when you see the hole is different.
Yep.
Absolutely different.
That boy different.
Brittany says team win loss, points for, point against.
So
Green
11-3
Bay.
Green Bay, 359 points
Thank
for,
you.
302 points against, 8-6 for the Niners, 360. So the 49ers have scored more points than the Green Bay Packers and have given up 12 more points than the Green Bay Packers. They're evenly matched, man. That's the matchup. That's it, right? Like, but again, it looks like they're going to have the first round bye. So the 49ers are going to have to deal with somebody first before they have. And again, we're getting ahead of ourselves. I believe the 49ers are going to be in the playoffs, but we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. Let's revisit this when
Yeah,
everything's
we got a
set.
game tomorrow, right?
We do have a game tomorrow. Let's revisit this
So
when everything's set.
we might have to. We'll talk offline. We got to adjust our schedule maybe a little bit. Obviously, we have the holidays around. We'll figure it out. We'll see if we're coming back on Wednesday. Coming back a little sooner. We'll figure it out. But the schedule's been wild this week. That's absolutely for sure. Um, Let's see. I thought I saw something that I wanted to talk about. Do you think that the 49ers are going to re-sign Mostert, or what do you kind of feel about that?
I hope so. And I've talked about it. I kind of hope so, especially when it comes to the way that we've seen the depth kind of come out. And like I said, I think Kyle is missing that home run hitter. And that's why he continues to use Debo, one, out of necessity because of the lack of running backs. But two, Debo has that take it to the house anytime feel when he's touching the ball. And I think that Kyle is missing that. And no disrespect to Elijah Mitchell, because he's been incredible and he's definitely shown
Mhm.
growth and he's very fast, but it's still not that anytime I touch it, I can take it to the house field like Mostert has, like Debo has. So I would love it. And again, we talked about it earlier. You know, we can revisit because we've almost been like 2 hours here. So it's you know, if you just jumped in,
We
I
got a
get it.
whole new set of viewers now.
Yeah. But he loves his team. He loves the culture. He's always constantly posting. Like he's posting about the missed calls. He's posting like he's breaking down the running back huddles. What other person, when you know their season is done, are not just probably sitting at home or just rehabbing? Like he wants to be here. He loves it. And I think that that shouldn't be dismissed. And I
Yeah.
hope that the 49ers revisit it, because if you would have asked me, before the season, you know, started, I would have said this is Mostert's last year. You can move
Same.
on. I don't know if I feel the same. I don't feel the same way. In fact, I don't know. I don't feel the same way at all. I would love to see him come back.
Yeah, and again, it's like what we talked about a little bit earlier. Him breaking down the running back huddle while being on IR. He's been on the field or around the team in every single situation. It's like, again, Jason Verrett. Like we like Jason Verrett a ton, but he's not around the team. Well, when Jalen Hurd was on IR for 3 years straight, he wasn't around the team. So it's a different kind of vibe that you get from Mostert. I hope he comes back. Um, we'll see. That's going to be that's a front office conversation. That's a you know, Parag conversation. So that's a little bit above probably my pay grade.
I wonder what the
Um,
computer says. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't. Am I?
the com-
Oh, my bad.
the computer's not going to like it. I can tell you that straight up right
My
now.
bad. Was that too snarky? Just a little
No,
bit.
it was perfect because the
Oh,
computer's not going to like it. The
because
age coming off injury,
and for
that
anybody
the
that doesn't
computer's not
get
going to like it.
that reference, okay, real quick, just a quick little story about the guy who is your wizard. They had a decision to make between Mike Holmgren and Nolan, and Parag consulted the computer, and they picked Nolan over Mike Holmgren. That's where that joke comes from. Okay, there's your wizard.
It hurts. It hurts. But hopefully, the 49ers are going to have a lot to do this offseason. Only 33 players under contract, a lot of
Love that
free
Spidey
agents.
avatar.
So I don't know if Jason's a big gamer or not. I know you're a big comic guy and you like superheroes and those movies and all that kind of stuff. I mean, look at the guy right behind you.
Yeah, I mean, like Star
Is that
Lord, Spider Man,
okay?
Batman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that's the
see you.
Star Lord mask, a bunch of Spider Man, ceramic stuff. Like here, I'll pull this one down real quick. Yeah, man, the boy, the goat,
Yee.
the goat, man. This
So
is a heavy ceramic thing, man. Like, and it's up there.
that's
So
dope. Are you a gamer? Do you game at all? I actually don't even know this about yourself.
I used to, and I'm a broke boy. I don't have a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series One.
Hey, I don't
But
have one of those either. I'll be
no,
honest. I don't have one of the new ones.
realistically, with everything that's going on in terms of content and me trying to learn as much as I can about the game and trying to be better, like I spend a lot of time trying to learn as much as I can about film, trying to learn as much as I can about scheme, watching coaching clinics while I have my downtime. And then when you toss in the fact that, full-time dad taking care of Averly, there's not really much time for it. And at the end of the night, usually when Averly's asleep, after, whatever, we're done with the content, it's usually just me throwing on one of my stupid shows that I watch, like either Seinfeld or Simpsons or something like that real quick, and then just trying to get some sleep before. So I used to. I think that certain games bring me back. Like when Spider-Man came out for PlayStation, immediately jumped right in, and I was like, okay, I'm setting aside time because I want to beat this. And
Yeah.
like God of War came out for PlayStation, and I was like, damn it, I'm going right in. And when this new
Yeah.
one comes out, then I'll have to go fish for a PlayStation 5. But just right now, especially during football season, it's really tough to set aside time for gaming. But I would like to. And I used to be a much bigger gamer. Much like The Last of Us 2 came out and I stopped everything. And I sat and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play this and I'm gonna go crazy on it. But fortunately, it's just not as much time as I'd like.
Absolutely. And for me, I grew up on Halo. So Halo was the really first person shooter, like the, live first person that I got into. So Halo was huge for me. But ever since Call of Duty came out, in regards to Warzone, I played a lot of the modern warfares but I kind of fell off. And for a couple years, pretty much the only game I would play was Madden or NCAA 14. I'm a big franchise guy, so I play franchise a ton. But ever since they came out with Warzone was a huge reason it got me through quarantine. Me and the boys hop on the mic, hop on the sticks, play Warzone until 3 o'clock in the morning. Like Warzone was a huge part of the early part of quarantine. And I haven't really played the new Halo, so I'm still playing Warzone a little bit. Definitely not at all like I used to. Warzone was an everyday thing during that time, but just like Jason, full time dad, this is a full time gig now, so we're working. I actually don't play video games that often anymore, but every once in a while, I've actually been playing franchise mode. I broke down and I bought the new Madden because they
Okay.
gave it 50% off. And I was like,
Eh,
okay, fine. I'll buy it for
And
50% off.
and there is one sports game that I buy every year, and that's MLB The Show. And I'm a big franchise guy with that, where I play the Yankees and I win fictional World Series because they're not good at winning real World Series. But yeah,
Yep.
but again, it's just right now. It's about right now just allocating the time to vibing with you guys, doing this content, and
Oh, yeah. We're
and
working.
honestly, the best part about football is how much there is to learn, and there's
Mhm.
never a point where you learn it all. Like even the
No.
most brilliant football mind is still learning things about it. And I think that's what has me so fascinated about the game is that there's never a point where you learn it all. And learning thing about
Mhm.
schemes and like reading books and watching coaching clinics and learning about film and concepts and what progressions are. It's like it's this like limitless pot of knowledge, and it's just something that I'm so fascinated and interested in right now that unfortunately it's just I can't allocate time unless it's a big time game like Last of
Right.
Us, God of War, Spider-Man, like those games like that. But I and not knocking anybody that is into gaming, because I used to be a hardcore gamer for sure, but also
Same.
I'm a broke boy who doesn't have a PlayStation 5 or so.
And we're working, man. And just like Jason said, dude, it's crazy because I feel like I know a lot about football, but I also recognize there's so much that I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not big with like knowing names of concepts. Like, I have a dyslexic brain. So, like, I'm very visual.
mhm,
So, watching tape is easy because I can watch it all. But it's like the trying to, like, the concepts, like, it's a hard time sticking for me. But there's
yeah.
so many things that I could still keep learning. Like I just focus a lot on the offense. If I wanted to learn about the defense and coverages and shells and like all that kind of stuff, like there's another world that I haven't even really broached. I'm just chilling in the offensive side right now. So there's so much, and that's why subscribing to the Patreon for Jason is really clutch because this dude is always working and you see it. Of course, great dad, number one overall. We see you working, bro. We see you working,
Appreciate
doing it
that.
all. It's
And I
it's
don't
it's. Go ahead.
it's not about the money though, right? Like I think that like somebody asked me that on Twitter or something like that, and they were like, He was. It was really like this angry, like response
Yeah,
about like
someone's just angry wanting to come
right,
at you.
and he was just like, "Well, you get, you barely make any money doing any of this," and I was like, "Did you ever think that I really just enjoy talking about football and looking at film and talking about film and trying to learn more?" I was like, why does everything always have to be about money? Like it's never like you can make money off your passion, but the passion should always be the passion, and it
Right.
should always be that. And I
Exactly.
enjoy it. If I didn't make a dime off of it, I still would be doing it. And that's the thing that I think that kind of got lost on that guy. And he didn't really
Yeah.
respond back when I responded back with like, well, why so angry? I was like, actually, it gives me a lot of joy and I have a lot of fun. But I hope your day is going better. So it's like, it's just like you tried to like get me out of my little, out of my pocket, but it's like, the money is cool, but like, bro, I would be doing this anyway just because I enjoy it. Like, find something that you enjoy and do it. Like, who cares?
Absolutely. Both Jason and I were managers in our past lives, and we have the opportunity to chase our passion, which is talking about football. And we have great viewers like you guys who sub to our channels, comment, give us super chats just to vibe and talk about this team. So hey, we're living the dream. We might not be making a king's ransom. I'm definitely not making anywhere near I was when I had my cushy office job, but I'm happier doing this type of content, getting to spend. Me and Aponte just spent 2 hours talking about football.
Imagine how
What
much football we're gonna talk about in Mobile.
yes,
Like, if
dude,
you
we're gonna
think
own
like
this off season.
right, like if you think that me and Brad just do this and we're just like, oh, and when we link, we don't talk about football. No, we still like we're so nerdy, like we continue. And like now think about that because we have to find all those late round gems, right? We have to
Yep.
find those guys that we're gonna be upset about that the 49ers don't draft, right? Like all of these things are gonna happen. These same conversations are gonna happen in Mobile. So the content's gonna be lit, man. We have so much in front of us right now. And again, I will never take any of this for granted. This is
Right.
still the coolest shit in the world to me. And I still have no idea why anybody cares what I have to say and how I got into this spot. I really don't. I don't, man. Like for 2 years in a
That's
row to
cool.
be credentialed to go to the Senior Bowl, man. Like we get to rub elbows again with Jim Nagy, agents, all these players, everything again. Like it still never becomes something that I'm just like, yeah, whatever. No, I'm gonna act like a dork when I get those and I'm gonna act excited because
Oh yeah.
I could have never like play the Dreams and Nightmares intro, man. I used to pray for times like this, man. What are we doing?
Let's go. Oh man, it's been a blast. Jason and I ran extra long today, but we were just vibing out, having a great time. The chat, you guys have been phenomenal. Brittany, our third host today. Shout out
Yeah.
Brittany. Shout out everyone who gave us super chat today. Again, every time you guys do that, you're helping us support our family, support our dreams. So we really do appreciate it when we say that. And you guys have been awesome. Jason, if all these lovely people are in here aren't following you yet, where do they follow you? Where do they get more content? Where do they find more shows? And most importantly, where do they find your Patreon?
Yeah, the Patreon's there if you guys want to sub. Brittany actually just subbed to the Patreon. Shout out to her, man. So hopefully we'll be talking tonight. I will be dropping the link for the Zoom call that we're gonna have tonight. But obviously on Twitter at Jason Aponte 2103, on YouTube Jason Aponte. Tonight another Sprint Right Option podcast. Tomorrow post game right after. Make sure you're tapped in the Brad's channel as well. He does the live reactions. I can't do that because I will get banned from YouTube with as much as I curse during the game and everything as well. So I respect the hell out of Brad for doing that. So, but make sure
I actually admittedly I have to stop because it was affecting the rest of my content. So we've switched it up a little bit. Pre-game, halftime, post-game. That's
there
what
you
we're
go,
doing now.
boom,
Yes,
and
sir.
that's the beauty of it, right? Is you can pay attention to who you like, and there's so many different people and so many different niches, for whatever it is that you like. There's you can go to Brad for all of the film breakdowns and all the lineman talk. You can go to me for over the top yelling it takes that eventually like
No,
there's
your
something.
coverages, bro. You know your coverage is way better than I know.
No, it's fine for now. I'm trying to just learn a little bit more, but like I'm saying, like I'm just, there's something for everybody. It's just a beautiful time, and just I appreciate
Absolutely.
everybody who's tapped in. And again, if you're here for the first time on either of these channels, make sure that you like this video, even if you are here all the time. A like from you is what really will help us out more than anything. Super chats are obviously, Chris, appreciate that, man. Super chats are obviously great. But if you like this video, it actually puts more eyes on it. So a like goes a far way for that. So hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to both these channels and hit that notification bell. This week is loaded with content, man. It is, even during the holidays. So one more thing before I go. Enjoy your holidays with your family. A lot of people wish that they could be with their family at this point, and they can't for whatever reason. Enjoy your time and enjoy your football, man. Christmas football, and let's go Niners. They got a game tomorrow.
Absolutely. We got it's playoff football. Let's keep it 100. It's not technically the playoffs, but we're treating it like that. So Luke, Chris, everyone else who has given a super chat, again, thank you guys as always for the vibes. The Sourdough Squad, Spicy Aponte Squad. When we merge, the vibes are electric. We appreciate you guys as always. Get ready for the game tomorrow because it's going to be a fire one. We're going to show out. We're going to get that dub, and we're going to be talking about Niners football on the other side of it. You guys have a great holiday. I hope you spend, just like Jason said, a ton of time with your family if you can. And if not, keep them in your prayers and in your thoughts. And until we see you guys the next time, have a good one. Be blessed. Peace.